The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Why, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this year's first briefing, I guess, first FRC, okay. Yeah, I screwed up the intro there. Welcome to the first briefing of the year. How's that sound? For those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Kevin Ross, and I am the PNW District Chair. And joining us tonight are Adrienne Rimey, who is our event and logistics person, and she basically runs the whole thing. Let's not kid myself. Debbie Kerr, who is from ORTOP. She's the first robotics program manager down there. And somewhere we were hoping to hear from Erin McCallum, and we haven't seen her yet, so she was going to call in.
Kevin, I'm on the phone. Hi, everyone.
Outstanding. I don't see you, but that's cool. But you're on the phone, so that's good. All right. So tonight we are going to talk about the upcoming season. There we go. So here is, we want to go over the calendar of important deadlines, as always. Make sure that everybody's aware of things that are coming up. There's a lot of stuff coming up in a hurry here. I wanted to give you a heads up on the calendar for workshops and events that are going to happen. We'll talk a little about the district status and participation fees. I guess we could have added a bullet point from here. We also are going to go through what you need to do to register for your first and second events, because that's a fairly large and important part of this presentation. And we, of course, would love to answer your questions. With this many people on the line, we're going to do it via the questions box if you can. Adrienne will be keeping an eye on that, and if she comes up with something, we may unmute you to ask you more details or to get some other voice rather than just mine on the line. Hopefully we will be done in less than an hour. I'm hoping so. So with that, why don't we get started by talking about this year's deadlines and important dates. So the first deadline or the first thing that you will probably want to know about is on Thursday the 20th, in 2 days, you will be able to select your preferred event, and that will be your preferred first event. So that is going to happen on this Thursday, and you'll need to get that done by the 27th. So you have 1 week to go in and select your first event. We're going to talk a bit about that in just a few minutes. So we'll go into that first event, what you need to do there in greater depth in just a couple of minutes. We do need you, if you are an existing or a rookie team, to please go and fill out the First Washington grant. What that is it is us collecting demographic information so that we can appropriately give you money because our donors have very specific guidelines about things, and the only way for us to satisfy their requirements is for you to fill in that grant. So filling in that grant will get you money. Not filling in that grant will mean that you have a much larger bill when it comes time to pay for all of this. It's a super easy grant. It's really mostly demographic information about your team and about and some other statistics that we need to provide info to our donors, or to your sponsors is really how to put it. So these folks want to give you money. They were requesting some information. Please make that happen. Also on the 27th, if you are a Washington State team, the OSPI grant, it's I-grant number 424, is due. So please get that in. If you are a public school in Washington State, that is a huge source of funds for you. If you have any questions or if you're stuck on something, you should first check with your district's I-grant administrator if it is a technical problem about the form or submitting the form. If you have questions on how to fill it out, Erin McCallum can help you out with that. So most of you have filled that out before, so that should be good. Also coming up on October 9th is when you are going to register for a kickoff. We have a number of kickoff events. We'll show you all the details for that later, but keep in mind that is something that you need to do before. Well, you need to do that as soon as you can. We'll talk about it in depth a little bit later. The second event registration happens on the 11th, and it will close on the 18th. So you have a second duty to be performed between 10:11 and 10:18. Okay. If your team is interested in a third play, that is going to happen on 11/1. So on November 1st, you'll be able to register, and then all of the registrations will get closed up on the 19th of November. So those are the important dates and deadlines. A lot of these are deadlines that FRC is put into place nationally. In fact, almost all of them are, except for the grant stuff. So we don't actually have direct control over any of that stuff. So please keep in mind and pay attention to this. Okay. How are we doing? We okay on questions, Adrian?
Yep, we're good so far.
All right. So some pro tips for all of you who are registering. You have to have 2 adult mentors need to pass YPP before you can register for your event. We highly recommend start doing that now. Normally they go pretty quickly, but every FRC team across the country is now doing this, and so this could delay it a little bit. So you should probably make sure that your team's main contacts are good to go on YPP. And so I'm going to just show you real quick how you can tell if you are good for YPP. So here is, if I go to firstinspires.org, and I am going to, oh, hey, look at that, I'm already logged in, cool. So here is my dashboard. Hopefully I don't end up showing you anything that I shouldn't. Okay, so they have redone some things in the dashboard that actually make things a lot easier. This is my team, 4089, and it turns out that we are event ready, which means that I've got my contacts are all done, and we've all got our consent forms done. It is possible that you may show up and it'll look like Team Freddy up here. You'll end up with review outstanding tasks, and so if your team has this, you should click on that and it'll pop up and tell you what you need to do. So it's kind of nice. So they're telling you right here whether you are ready or not to be able to register. So yay FRC, they're making some good improvements to the website. We appreciate that. A couple of things that are always unobvious is where to find the YPP stuff. So whoever it is, so your main contact and your alternate contact are pretty good choices for being the 2 adults to get the YPP. In fact, that's required. And so if you're looking for how to do that, it's up here in the right-hand corner. You'll find you can sign the consent and release form online right here. And if you need to, you can do the YPP, or the Youth Protection Screening is done right here. So if you're looking for where to do that, that's where it is. Again, yay FRC, they're continually improving the website. It still kind of varies things from time to time, okay? Your goal is for your team, whoever your main contact is, should be finding event ready. That means that you are all ready and to select events. Hopefully that made sense to everybody. And so we highly recommend doing it now. We really highly recommend, once you've got 2 people who have passed YPP, we highly recommend not changing mentors between your first and second registration. In theory, it should work, but in practice, we've had issues with this. So if you're going to wait, if you do need to change mentors and both of them have passed YPP at the moment, hang out until after you've registered for your second event before you actually make that change. We find that to be a better thing to do. Okay. All right. Any questions that need general addressing? We good?
Nope, I think we're good.
All right. So when it comes to event registration, so starting Thursday, September 9th at 9 a.m. our time, which is 12 Eastern, you will be able to go in and select an event or a list of events in ranked preference. I'm sorry I can't show this to you online at the moment, but it's actually relatively straightforward. So what happens is you will put in your event preferences, and by lottery, it will attempt to fill your events in the order that you've put them in, okay? So for those of you who have been around a while, remember that they've switched over to this lottery system so you don't have to be first come, first serve. That was kind of an unfair thing to do to folks. So this is gonna work good. So no, but you do need to get your entries in before the 27th, before September 27th at 9 a.m. That is the cutoff deadline. So you have a whole week. So discuss it with your team, figure out which events you want to go to. Now, we also use what's called the home event here in Washington State. So when you actually go to log into your team dashboard, on Thursday, your home event will likely already be filled in. So and if that's the case, you won the lottery already. So that means that is your home event. And if you choose to keep it, you're already in.
Kevin, your home event is going to be the first one listed at the top. I am not clear. I believe you're still going to have to select it, but it is going to be the first event listed at the top.
Gotcha. Thank you, Adrian.
Yeah, and I'm not completely clear if it will already be selected for you. I just want to make sure that everybody's looking, and if they don't see it selected, that they do select it. Like Kevin said, we don't get to look in advance, and so we're going off of memory from last year. And I just want to make sure that you guys all get into your home event if that's what you're looking to do.
Yep.
So Adrian,
Yes.
I was told today that for us, that the home event would be in green, like you
Yes.
said, at the top of the list.
And
so they do have to select it, but it will be in green, and that's how you'll know it's your home event.
perfect. Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie. It's good to have somebody who knows what they're talking about. It's not me. So yeah, all right, so select your home event. So everybody erase all of that. What I told you, you need to go in to event options, and you'll need to select your home event. If you select your home event, the lottery, you already won the lottery. Now, if you select something other than your home event as your preference, then you're subject to the outcome of the lottery and you're giving up your home event spot. So keep that in mind. So for most of us, we're going to go in, we're going to select the home event as our only preference for our first event. If you are planning on going to registering for a different event, you're welcome to do so, but you do give up your home event spot. Hopefully that was clear. I thought it was.
Kevin, probably one more thing to note is that if you really want to get into a certain event, pick that as your own, and it's not your home event, pick that as your only choice. And you will get put on the wait list if you don't make it in. Right now, many spots are taken by spaces that we have to reserve for teams that are interested in their home events, or who want their home events. So there are quite a number of teams that might end up being put on a wait list, but will come off very quickly afterwards. If you select a second or third choice and there's space available in those events, you will be put in those events. And that may or may not be what you really want. So something to think about if you really want to go to Glacier Peak, for example, and it's not your home event, you want to select only Glacier Peak and not choose any other events as a wait list.
And Alex, thank you so much for that question. Sometimes
Yes.
we forget that not everybody knows what the hell we're talking about. The home event is, the notion of a home event is we have geographically assigned you to an event that is closest to your teams to your team. So for my team, for example, my team is in Duval. The closest event is actually at Glacier Peak. So that's my home event based on travel time or distance. So that way you get to play one event that you hopefully don't have to travel for. It doesn't work for everybody, but for most of the teams, we're trying to make it so that you're guaranteed one event that you don't really have to travel for. I apologize to all of our super rural teams. We realize that you do have to travel both times, but that is the idea. Hopefully that made sense. So the home event is the one that's geographically closest to your school. Okay. And detailed instructions, if you would like, you can go find this, the detailed instructions about event preference. This is a file that's produced by FIRST. We're following the FIRST rules on that. Okay. All right. Any?
I guess the only other, and I was starting to type, but I got asked if teams will ever be able to pick their home event. We have to provide a list to FIRST that includes every single zip code in Washington, Oregon, and Alaska, and what event it flows into. We have an algorithm that we use that puts people in the event that is geographically closest. And some teams are very close to two different events, but it puts you in the one that your zip code is closest to the event's zip code, and that is not something that teams will get to change or pick in the future, just because FIRST system has to be able to handle it.
Okay, and the algorithm for Alaska. That's interesting. I don't.
Wade and I can talk offline.
Yeah. Okay. So just in case, just so everybody remembers, we are Washington, Oregon, and Alaska, and so of course the home event for Alaska is a slightly different set of challenges. So, but that means we are geographically the biggest district in the world by a huge margin. Actually, thank you for Alaska. Okay, moving on. So we know that we have some workshops and events coming up. The first one is going to be September 29th, is Autodesk Fusion training. Debbie, maybe you could help me out here. Do you know anything about if people are interested in this, what they need to do since it's happening so quickly?
They actually have to RSVP to Autodesk, and if they don't have that contact information, I sent it out to Oregon and Southwest Washington teams today. So if you were not on that distribution list, they can email me and I can forward that information to them. The training is from 10:30 to 4 that day in Portland.
In Portland. Thank you for that. So if you are so everybody in Oregon and Southwest Washington should have gotten that. And if somebody is interested in traveling farther, is that okay? Can they come down from Seattle?
As long as there's room. It's capped at 40 because that's how much the room can hold. Okay. So as long as there is capacity, we'd be happy to have them.
Great. And if you didn't get an email and you would like to find out if you could travel down, contact Debbie Kerr and she'll. I made that up while I was sitting here. Is that okay if they contact you?
That's perfect. And then I'll forward them the Autodesk RSVP email.
All right.
And I'll put Debbie's email address in the chat.
Okay. October 20th, First Fair, which is the ORTOP version of our workshops, is happening on October 20th. And I'm assuming that Southwest Washington teams are always usually invited to that as well. We don't have a whole, we didn't have a whole lot of detail when we set this up. Is that on a website somewhere that they can look at?
So if they can give me a few more days, I almost have the schedule finalized.
Okay.
We actually have quite a few Southwest Washington presenters that will be at our first fair at the end of October.
Outstanding. Okay, so and that's actually the same thing with the Washington-based the Washington-based workshops. Keep an eye out. We don't have all of the details just yet, but we are going to be sending out to Adrian and Debbie will be sending out blasts to everybody to let you know where things are. But these are the dates that we know about. So, okay. We are going to have some online leadership workshops coming up. So here's the kind of schedule for them and the times. And so they'll be done using GoToMeeting and stuff. So we're going to do advocacy and the ABCs of advocating for FIRST and advocating for your team. We're going to do one about diversity on your team and how to be more inclusive and make your team reflect the community that you live in. And then we have a third one that the exact title hasn't been determined yet, but that'll be held on October 30th. And then we'll do another one on onboarding mentors on November 13th. And actually that is my workshop. So you are more than welcome to attend those. These are all online, so you don't have to travel anywhere. Should be a good opportunity to hear from others about what they're doing. So put that on your list. And of course, we also have our off-season events coming up. Girls' Generation will be done at Wilsonville this year, at Wilsonville High School on 10/6, on October 6th. And then on 10/27, which is a Saturday, Girls' Generation at Tahoma High School in Maple Valley is also happening. We also have another off-season event on the east side of the mountains, Robot Rewind. It will be at West Valley High School in Spokane Valley. Thank you to Team Chuck for hosting that. And then, of course, Bunny Bots, which is the awesome Catlin Gable event for bringing new students up playing a different game, but you're able to build a robot and that is very FRC-like to play a much simplified game, but it's a great way to give your students an opportunity to learn how to build stuff in the fall and have a game at the end. And that'll be on December 22nd down at Catlin Gable High School in Portland.
And can I just interject something quick?
Yeah.
If teams are interested in attending Bunny Bots, Dale told me today that he only has 4 more slots for teams. So if this is something that you're interested in, but you haven't registered for, there's only 4 more slots. So be quick about it.
Do you know anything about the Girls' Gen for Portland or Oregon?
I do. We have 25 teams registered, but we are still accepting more teams. So registration is $250 and they can go to the ORTOP website to register.
Okay. Adrian, do you know the count for Washington, where we are?
Let me find out.
Okay. And then
we're at 35 currently, and they're taking 36, I believe.
Okay.
So, and it looks like Robot Rewind has 5 slots left.
Outstanding. So if you guys are interested in these off-season events, we highly recommend you get a hold of folks. I think we sent that out in the FRC blast not long ago, right?
That we sent what out? Sorry.
How to sign up for these events?
Yeah, it varies depending on the event, but I've got I've sent information out in the sign up, and then at the bottom of every weekly email, there's some important dates or events. And if there is a website or a place you can go to register for things, I make that a hyperlink. So every week you should be able to, get easy access to register for any of those events.
Okay.
So, and they're all posted on the firstwa.org under team communications when I send them out weekly, as well as this will be posted under workshops and webinars for I don't know if you want to go online really quickly, Kevin, and show people, because there might be some new people who haven't navigated our website before, but where that stuff lives.
Absolutely. And for anybody that's interested in Robot Rewind in Spokane, I just put in the chat box,
Oh, good.
chuck2147.com. Thank you, Eric, for letting me know where people can go find information about that. Meanwhile, so good news, everybody. First Washington is actively working on a new website, and we're really excited about it because ours has gotten stale. It's a long story, but they are actively working on a new website, and so this will improve here. But if you go to our website, firstwa.org, under Team Resources, where am I looking again? I'm sorry, Adrian, I can't find it either.
It's Team Resources, First Robotics Competition, and then you see Communications and Questions.
There they are.
And a little bit further down is Workshops and Webinars. And so every week when I send out the email, I post it there. And so that's how you can catch up on old emails if you've missed something.
Yep. So if you can't find it or you don't think you got it, they're all here. That's under Team Resources, FRC, First Robotics Competition Team Resources. Whoops, sorry, and Communications. And then the web workshops and webinars. This is where you'll find links to all of our slides and those sorts of things. Like, for example, the slides that we're using right now will get put up there probably tonight, and a link to the video and such. So we apologize for this being in a super cumbersome spot to get to. We acknowledge that our website needs help, and it actually is getting help right away. So thanks for your patience. Okay, off to the next thing. Volunteer opportunities. Hey, so we have lots of volunteer opportunities for students during the events. Among a couple that we'd like to highlight are we are always looking for students who might be interested in working with the audiovisual equipment. Most of you have seen the awesome video stuff that we put out. We have really high quality web streaming, and it requires between 6 and 10 people at each event to sort of staff that. And we enjoy giving opportunities for students who are interested to come and try it out. Students are welcome. No experience is really necessary. We can train you, and it's a great place to put a student who might not have something else to do during your event. We're also looking for technical directors. So we have a handful of technical directors, but we're realizing we need to make more technical directors. So that's part of the setup and teardown, and also part of the operations. So that job involves helping put up all the pipe and drape and getting all of the AV equipment set up, and then helping to manage the students who are running it. So we're looking for alumni or adults who would like to volunteer for that key position. We have a few, but some of us are doing too many weekends in a row. So we'd love to have some folks that would like to come learn how to do that and help us out for a week or two during the season. So appreciate it. If you know anybody that's interested, they can contact Adrian, and she will put you in touch with the rest of us. So, okay. All right, so what's the district look like this year? We think we have somewhere around 155 teams this year, up a little bit from last year. There are going to be 9 district events. I'll show you where they are here in just a minute. Our district championship this year is going to be in Tacoma at the Tacoma Convention Center, and it will be April 3rd through April 6th. We're pretty sure we should have about the same allocation as before, so we think we'll be sending somewhere around 37 teams to World Championships. That number is actually decided by, after registration closes, first we'll figure out proportional allocations for the districts. We think it's going to be somewhere in that neighborhood. We don't know the exact number yet. And as always, first is the Pacific Northwest District generates really awesome volunteers, and we'd like to encourage you, if you'd like to help out at the World Championships in Houston. We'd love to have you go as a volunteer. They're always looking for robot inspectors and referees, and they're looking for, well, just pretty much all of the positions that we have. So we normally send an enormous number of volunteers to Houston, and the championship really appreciates that because we send good volunteers. So just wanted to put that on your radar if you're kind of thinking that your team is going to go. It'd be a great thing to do, to volunteer to help out down there. Okay. We're going to start with the first thing, which are kickoff locations. We have a lot of them this year, so plenty to choose from. It makes me smile to see how many there are now. We were around when I think we sent Eric Stokely to San Jose to pick up kits and drive them back in his pickup truck. Now we have, look at all of these. So the normals are still there. Auburn, Eastern Washington University, thank you so much for hosting. Mount Lake Terrace, of course. New this year, St. Martin's University, which is in Lacey, down near Olympia.
Kevin, this is actually their second year.
It is?
Yes, it is. They hosted a kickoff last year as well.
I forgot all about that. I feel bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. All right. And Wapato over near Yakima, they're going to host again. West Valley, of course, they always do a great job. And I think is COCC, that's new this year, right? Redmond Tech?
Okay, so we're not doing Bend, we're doing Redmond, but they're like 15 minutes apart.
Oh, okay.
And also, we got one more kickoff approved today. It's going to be a satellite location in Ashland, Oregon.
Oh, wonderful. Really? And
cool.
Kevin, I made a mistake. The Spokane one is at Eastern Washington University in Cheney, not West Valley High School in Spokane. So I think I was thinking district events. So I will update that before we post it. But
there is not a okay, good, because I was kind of looking at it going, really?
Yeah,
they're going to do one?
Okay. It is where it always is, in Cheney. That is my mistake.
Okay, no worries. So scratch West Valley off this. It'll be gone soon. All right, and you'll need to select this on October 9th, and we'd really appreciate it. We'll send that out in email blast, but you do need to go in and select that as it actually is selected as one of your events, and so it'll be over here somewhere. I think yeah, here it is, kit and kickoff. Oh, actually, can I select it yet? Let's see what happens. It'll probably say nothing yet. Oh yeah. So eventually you'll be able to select it right there. Please do that for us. Otherwise your kit may end up in a funny place. Don't want that to happen. Okay, let's look at, these are the events that we're running. Week 1 this year is a single event. It'll be up at Mount Vernon. And I won't read through all of them. I think we actually have no new locations this year. Sundome is our most recent acquisition, but you can see they're all there. Actually, we do have one new location, which is the Tacoma Convention Center, week 6, and that will be our district championship. So, all right, that'll be pretty exciting. If you do want to do a third play, nothing has changed in the third play department this year other than the dates. So third plays open, registration opens on the 1st of November. It costs $1,000. If you wanted to travel to another district, you're able to do that as well. So up to you guys. We haven't had anybody actually take advantage of that yet. And there you go. That's everything you want to know about third place. All right. The participation fee is yet again $10,866. And of course, we are fundraising on your behalf. I think I think we're actually doing pretty good. Actually, is this where I'm going to turn it over to our dear friend, Aaron? Aaron, you still on the line? I'll let you unmute
I
yourself.
am.
Okay, I'm going to, so the important thing that we wanted to point out to everybody, whether you're in Washington or in Oregon, we are fundraising on your behalf. And the grant system that we talked about earlier, you do need to fill that first Washington grant out. And that is, the link for it's on the next slide, but we're going to say that several times. We really need that demographic information for your team and the statistics from your team so that we can document and satisfy the needs of our donors. Really, really important that you guys do that, okay? Hey, Aaron, how are we doing on fundraising? We doing all right?
We're doing pretty well. Just keep plugging along. The one other thing that I would mention for all teams, when you get your invoice from us electronically, on that invoice, it will make a note of all of the generous donors that have made your ability to participate. So please take a photo, make sure that you capture those names of the companies or foundations, both Washington, Oregon, and Alaska. Don't just forward that invoice to your accounts payable people, because it's really important that come spring, we're going to be asking for end of year thank yous. Many teams sent thank yous this year, and we really appreciate it. It makes our job that much easier, and these companies really, really appreciate it. And just one last thing, a shout out to the teams that helped us with some of the donor thank you videos. They are very popular and very appreciative. So keep up the great work.
All right. Yep. So remember, all of those people on that invoice are your sponsors, right? That they've donated money through us to you. So those are your sponsors. So it's your responsibility to thank them. And all of those folks actually belong on the back of your T-shirt. So just saying.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we really need you. So on the 27th, which is a week from this Thursday, we really need you to go now and fill out that grant. There's some, we are asking for some information from you, and again, that's on the behalf of the donors. Okay. And as always, we want to point out that when we do raise funds, some donors are very explicit about where, sometimes it's geographic, sometimes it's demographic, sometimes it's where their mentors belong. So every team's sort of funding is slightly different. So we just wanted to be sure that we're trying to be completely upfront about that. There are some teams who are fully funded by donors and some teams who aren't. And we are trying hard to get those funds released across all teams, and we're doing a pretty good job of that. But your invoice amount is likely to be different than another team's invoice amount, and that's entirely has to do with what the donors have asked us to do. So we're following their instructions. So just heads up on that. All right. So with that, we are now down to general questions. If there's anything that you think is relevant to the whole group, we would love to discuss it with you, or try and answer those questions now. Adrian, do we have anything lurking in the list that we should address?
No. Well, I think that you forgot the last half of the workshops and webinars slide. You got sidetracked a little bit, and if you go back,
What? I have
think that
ADD?
there were a couple of up a little bit
Up.
further. There you go.
Oh,
so we
yes,
have
I did.
I think that after LEAP we missed the entire rest. So about the November 10th, mentors should have gotten an email from Darren, and he asked that everybody RSVP. So just to get an idea of how many are coming. I realized that I don't know if Maggie is on the line to talk about November 14th, but I am
Oh, Maggie.
looking. Maggie, you are here. It
Oh, Maggie,
looks like
cool.
you don't, yeah, it looks like Maggie does not have a mic. I'm going to see if we can, yeah, she's not connected via audio. Maddie or Maggie, if you want to enter anything into the chat down below, I'm happy to talk about what exactly the speed dating is that's happening on the 14th. And then I think you did mention the FRC workshops, kind of, and that we don't really have any details yet.
Yep. So, all right. So the Mentor Social, which is a lovely chance to come in and check in with the other mentors in the area. They've been we've had a couple of other mentor events this year put on by Darren Collins from Bare Metal, and they've been really well attended, and they've been very, very well received, and we appreciate him doing that. If you're available on November 10th, I think it'd be awesome if you could come and join for that. It's always, it makes for an interesting day. And then we don't have all the details on the FRC workshops for the year. We know that there's going to be one in Tacoma, and we haven't checked with the guys who normally do these things. So we'll have details for that coming up in an email blast soon. And I'm not seeing anything from Maggie, are you?
No, I'm not. Although Dale is online, he was late to our meeting, so if he's happy to talk about bunny bots and possibly give a little bit more information about Leap. If we would like to
unmute him.
So would you like to unmute him?
I would love to unmute him. Dale Yoakum, how the heck are you, sir?
Well, I am doing well. Thanks for the unmute. Let's see, Leap, the actual kickoff of that is September 27th. There's going to be a conference call with the folks at Mercy Corps. The idea of Leap is to get teams doing things with their engineering skills that aren't just building a robot. And so we find a different nonprofit each year, and we come up with interesting things that we could do to help them out. This year, Mercy Corps wants some help with food availability and production and food security issues in developing countries. And so teams that want to get involved in that, we would love to have their help. So it's a competition, kind of like a Shark Tank kind of a thing. So teams develop their idea, they present it at a culminating event in mid-December, and then the winning team gets $3,000. The second place is $2,000, third place is $1,000, and fame and glory can be yours. So if you're interested in that, go to 1540.org/leap, and there's more information there. There'll be a button very shortly to sign up for the web conference call.
Is it 1540 what? Did I lose you?
You might have lost him. Dale, if you type it in the question box, or you can type it in the chat box, and everybody will get it.
Did you hear do you remember the?
I did not catch it.
He's now on twice. One of them is on mute. Here, I'm going to unmute the other one for you, Dale. If you can hold still. I'm having to. Hey, are you back?
Yeah, I am. Sorry about that. For some reason, my Wi-Fi decided this would be a good time to draw.
Oh, of course. So yeah. What was the website again?
So it's team1540.org/leap. And there's more information there, and you would definitely.
I think we might have lost him again. No.
So if you scroll down the page, you can actually see the register for Leap 2018. And Dale said that he was going to add the link to the go-to meetings to this page.
Great. All right. So bottom line, 1540, team1540.org/leap. If you're interested, take a look at that. And then I'm gonna guess that I can also look up here and find bunny bots. Are you back, Dale? Okay, I'm looking for bunny.
Oh, it's under fall events. There you go.
There we go. And you can find information about bunny bots. This bunny bots it's always a game that his team invents, and it's a great way to just get your kids out building stuff. So, all right. I'm sorry that Dale has now gone offline. Oh, I'm seeing about 6 Dale Yokums in the list, and they're.
So Kevin, and if you scroll down just a little bit more, you'll see the register button.
Yep, register right here. Cool. All right. Sorry, Dale, about they're all offline now. So, okay.
So Kevin, you have a request to show the slide with the district events again. Keep in mind, everyone, that I sent this information out to coaches today. The website this slide deck will be posted on the website either later this evening or tomorrow. So you can access it there if you need to look again. And all these events do show on the First Inspires website. I know it's not always real friendly to get an entire list, but you can access the events there as well. So there are several places where you can see the different PNW events.
All right. So the other thing I would like to show you is something I found on YouTube, just in case you are not a follower of things too closely. If you look for FRC Teaser 2019, FRC Teaser 2019, here it is, Destination Deep Space. This is the teaser for the year. I'm not going to run here. Video does GoToMeeting does a bad job of video, but it's about a minute long. It's a teaser for this season. It was released at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Welcome to have a peek at that. Something I would normally forward to my kids, which I'll forward it to them a little bit later if they haven't found it already. So anyway, that also just came out. So there are the slides. I'll leave those for now. Are there any other pressing questions that are popping up there? Adrian?
Nope, not any additional questions. I think we've gotten them all.
Yay. All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody. And as always, thanks for doing this for your students. I just realized this is my 20th season, and I'm stunned every year at the amount of time and dedication that students will put into this program and the volunteers put into this program. So it tells me that we are doing something right. And when I say we, that includes you. So as a collective community, we're doing the right thing for the right reasons. And I hope that all of the administrative and funkiness that between us and FIRST make you do, please realize it is actually worth it, and we are making a huge impact on a whole bunch of students, and it's very, very much appreciated. So with that, I think we are going to call it a night.
Have a nice evening, everyone.
Absolutely. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.